Welcome back to Mama's Tea Time, where it's just three mamas reading some Reddit stories and spilling the tea. I'm Jessica.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Rachel.
We are on episode 10, you guys. That's kind of crazy, I feel like.
We did it. We're here. We made it through.
So,
Spilling all the tea.
so just to let everyone know, we are going to end season 1 right here, but don't worry. Season 2 is coming in a few weeks, you guys. So stay tuned on our TikTok account, YouTube. Maybe we'll make an Instagram someday and get real crazy. I don't know.
Ooh,
Just stay tuned so y'all know when season 2 is going to come. We've all got a lot going on in the next few weeks, especially me. So I've got family in town. So we're just going to kind of end season 1 on a good note, because, hey, 10 episodes. That's crazy. But
or on a spicy note. That's how we're going to end it.
Oh, yeah.
We have stories.
Oh, yeah. And we definitely are ending this one on a spicy note. So y'all buckle up and get ready. And Rachel's going to kick us off.
Let's get it.
Okay. All right. Well, mine is called... Well, it doesn't really have a title. So it just says, my partner's family does not accept me. We've been married for 5 years. There's a family wedding on their side of the family, and they have intentionally invited my partner, but not me. Am I the asshole for asking my partner to stand by me and not attend? Long story short, my in-laws have always disliked me and never welcomed me into the family. My husband's brother is getting married. I'd like to see that by attending without me, even after being together for 8 years, that it only encourages everyone to assume they can have a relationship with him and completely ignore me. I'd like for him to set a boundary and say to his brother that he'd only come if he can bring his wife, as it is very clear the only reason that I've been excluded is because his parents have meddled and asked them to exclude me. FYI, other families/couples have been invited in full, but not me. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to stand by me, or should he go for his brother's big day?
Wow. Okay, so wait. The original poster is married to... Okay, so they are married. Yeah, no, she's not, or they're not.
Mm-hmm. They've been married for 5 years, and they've been together for 8.
Whoever it is not in the wrong here.
She was the only one in the family excluded.
That's messed up. I wonder if there's more of a story behind.
Yeah. There's always more than meets the eye. I feel like in stories like this, there's just one side of the story. But just going off of this one side, I feel like when you get married, you become a family. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I think
on
Jess mentioned it.
The episode that came out today.
Yes. Okay. So you become like one in that, like together, you guys are a family. So if you're excluding one, you're excluding if you're excluding my husband, you're excluding me.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to be a partner and have your spouse's back and be like, if you're not going to invite her, you're not going to invite me. Or, you're doing that to her, you're doing that to me. Like, I don't know. That's just my vibe. Like,
the thing is, so it's the parents of her husband that don't like her. Mm-hmm. It's not the brother, but I don't like, it's just like, is the brother going to invite both of them knowing it's probably going to cause a conflict at a wedding? Like, I don't know.
I think she's assuming that the parents have meddled now. And he's okay with her.
Yeah.
But not the parents.
No, honestly, tell your man, say, stick up for me. Like, if they,
yes.
I'm all for that. Be like, hey, this has gone on long enough. I need your help. I'm going to need you to have my back on this. Like,
yeah.
But who knows what happened that the person is not including in the story.
No one wants to say that they did wrong. No one wants to put that out there and say, well, I did all this stuff because that's causing them to feel like this. You know, like, I don't know if that's the truth or if she did anything, because obviously she didn't share. But so what we're going off of, I don't feel like she's the asshole. But like, I feel like there's more. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the full story. I don't know what you guys think about that.
No, for sure. But
it is hard. Family relationships, when it's your spouse's family, oof. It's just hard to deal with, honestly. Like, it could be really great, but when there is problems, it becomes like, okay, I'm married into that family. You know, it's my family now, but it's never the same as like your actual family.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you get married, this is what we were talking about last week, like, when you get married, you're starting your own new family too. Like, so it's like, yes, your family is still your family, but now you've got your own to worry about. Like, I don't know. It's just, it can get sticky sometimes, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just can't help but think there's more to it.
I know. I feel like she just left it very vague.
Mm-hmm. And 8 years together is a long time. So a lot can happen in 8 years. And sometimes beginnings of relationships are a little messy. Sometimes can be. And so, like, who knows what happened at the start. But
yeah.
But
I think something that my older sister used to say to me is, like, let him be the one to speak out for his family, because I feel like they get really sensitive, or at least my family does, if my husband were to stick up and say something, versus if I were like, no, that's not going to happen to my parent. You know, like saying that to my parent. Like, letting whose actual family it is, like, on that side, let them be the one to communicate and stick up and be like, no, that's not how we do things, like, as our new family. Like, no, that's not okay. You're disrespecting her or whatever. 100%. Because I feel like if she were to speak out, it becomes more sensitive and more, the guards are up, the more defense, versus if he were to be like, whoa, mom, that's not cool. Or whoa, whoever, that's not okay to treat her like that. Just a different vibe.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she gets to go to the wedding and there's no drama.
At that point, I wouldn't want to go.
Hopefully.
Like, that's awkward.
Right?
I'd be like, no, that's fine. I'll sit at home.
I don't know, but sometimes you just like to get right involved in it all. Like, I don't know, but maybe we'll get an update someday.
But I wouldn't want to be the one causing the drama. At a wedding.
Yeah, definitely not at a wedding. If it were any other event, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Correct.
Let's go meddle a little bit.
I'll go anyways, even though I'm not invited.
Let's go stir it up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But a wedding on someone who probably hasn't done you wrong like the parents did, like.
Yeah, literally.
Now, if it was like the parents getting married or like whatever, like remarried or something, then I'd go and be like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hello, I'm at your wedding. You're welcome. Holla at ya.
Get a few drinks from the open bar.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
Well, that was crazy. We'll definitely have to check for an update.
Yeah.
I know. We need to, I wonder what the comments, they're probably like, okay, what are you not sharing? I feel like people might be calling her out. Like, okay, what else?
I haven't seen anybody asking that, but it's only been up for about 6 hours.
Well, send it to me because I'll ask.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what's the other side of the story, though? Let's talk about it.
Maybe I should. Really, you should send it to me and I'll ask, or you can ask, and we should see if anyone comments the next time we record.
That would be good. One of these days, we need to contact them and have them on, like us read it and then on.
Especially a recent one that was posted, like something that was like 6 hours ago or whatever. Be like, hey, we're reading your story on a podcast. Would you want to Come spill more tea
That
with
would be
us.
fun.
Anyway,
Somebody
going along with weddings, my story is also about a wedding.
Oh, we have a theme.
And this one was highly rated not the a-hole. So, this one's am I the asshole for not inviting my stepmom, in parentheses, the woman my dad had an affair with, to my small wedding.
Vice.
Yup. My dad and stepmom, in parentheses, feels so weird to call her that, got married earlier this year. They met when I was in high school, and she was my parents' foreign language teacher. She is about 10 years older than me and became a foreign language tutor for me too. Really, she was a conversation partner, and I had... Whoa. Back up. Really, she was a conversation partner, and I thought we were on friendly terms. Not as friendly as she and my dad. After 20 plus years with my mom, he had an emotional affair with the other woman. This is so much more complicated because when my parents were in counseling, I was diagnosed with cancer in college at this point, and they separated so one could care for me, while the other stayed home with my sibling. I'm talking North America to Asian time difference. The short of it is that my dad continued his affair, eventually living with the other woman while my parents' divorce was getting finalized. I was angry and hurt for a while, but had a good talk with my dad several years ago. My takeaways were that he shared he was finally happy, ouch, sorry he hurt me and my sibling in the process, and was unapologetic for the affair. He loved her. When invited to visit them in Africa, where they then lived, I shared I was uncomfortable being around her. We have tentatively kept in touch since then. Fast forward to this week when my fiance and I sent save the dates to our small wedding. We were limited to 25 people, and I agonized over inviting my dad. Ultimately, I decided it was my choice, and ideally it would like celebrating with him. He asked if the invite extended to my stepmom. I said no, just him. Honestly, I was shocked he even asked. My fiance was mad. Then today, he sent me a long message about how he was hurt that my stepmom was not invited because she is meaningful to him. He said he'd like to talk after the wedding about any unresolved feelings I have about the divorce and a way to connect moving forward, including her. I was flabbergasted. My sibling is unwilling to even say the other woman's name. We were both invited to their wedding, however, I said no because of distance and cost, which was $3,500 and 35 hours of travel just for the flights. Another part of me would have been deeply uncomfortable to be there. My fiance and I made a lot of hard decisions when finalizing our wedding list. We heard repeated advice to do whatever we wanted, whatever was best for us, because it was our special day. Now I'm feeling guilty for not inviting a woman I haven't spoken to in 6 years. I'll add that she never tried reaching out to me. Even when I was sick, I know she knew I had cancer. My dad was actively cheating then. Thoughts?
Oof. That's heavy, I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like I say this a lot, but there's layers to that story. Like,
yes, there is.
It's like one of those diagrams or trees that you make where it's like starting here and there's so many branches underneath of like where the story is going, ultimately to be like coming down to the end saying, I don't like this woman, I just don't want to be around her.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Where to begin?
I know. I was just thinking that.
I don't even know.
So, I'm assuming...
I don't think she's the apple for not inviting her.
Oh, no. I'm assuming that they are not from America. Considering the parents were having a foreign language teacher. And then they, now they live in Africa. I don't know. It doesn't specify. So I'm assuming there's a language kind of barrier, but I don't know. Because they were taking, the parents, both mom and dad, were taking foreign language classes with this woman. and then the dad.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, that was right at the beginning. So the parents,
all they were having an affair.
So that's how they met. So
Oh no.
she was she said she was my parents' foreign language teacher. She's only about 10 years older than the original poster.
So okay. So they were okay, let me get this right. They met doing like the foreign language teacher, all that stuff. They were still together. When did they decide to split? Is it because he was having an affair or is it because she got sick?
So they separated only so the mom could go take care of her while she was in college and had cancer. And she had a sibling, so the dad stayed with the sibling in the area where this foreign language teacher was still. So I guess he was still taking classes, and then they started an emotional affair, which led to a full-blown everything affair.
Oh my goodness. So while she was probably, can you imagine being that daughter that is struggling with cancer? Mom came to help me, and then what did you do to repay her? You cheated on her.
Like, that's putting all that pressure on the daughter, too.
Yes.
Right?
Like, is it my fault because you had to come help me because I had cancer? Like, I would feel like that.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
Definitely.
I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. That's just crappy.
I mean, it goes into like a lot of if you guys haven't watched or listened to our podcast in the past, we do talk about like cheating a lot. We have a lot of our stories of people cheat. And I think a lot of it does start with like the verbal and the emotional. And that's how it goes farther. It's like not putting up those boundaries or not being careful in those ways.
Is it just me, or does it all sucks. Any type of cheating sucks. But when like it gets emotional, I feel like that's worse. Do you know what I mean? Like when they start like feeling for each other and then loving each other. I'm like, okay, doing the nasty is like one thing. It sucks. Yeah. Like I'd still be like, bye, there's the door. But like this would hurt more to be like, okay, yeah, I fell in love with someone else and I don't love you anymore.
Oh God, you just saying that makes me so sad.
So like they had an emotional affair.
Rough.
That's crazy. And he had been with her mom for over 20 years.
So guys, let's talk about the wedding part of inviting and not. What do we think?
Well, she was limited to 25 people, right? Like,
I mean, I guess if it was unlimited, then it'd be a different story. But since she can only invite so many people, you don't want that person taking up a spot where somebody that you actually care about could be there.
100%.
Also, also feel like it's your dang wedding. It's not about how you feel or anybody else feels. It's about myself and my husband, my new husband, getting married and celebrating us. So if I don't want a certain person there,
they don't have to be there.
Like it's not. I think when it comes down, we talked about that baby shower story too in the past, where it was like she only wanted small, intimate baby shower. It's the same thing. It's like, can people stop trying to make it about them? Can we make it about the person it is about? Yeah. Like if she only wants 25 people and your new affair wife didn't make the cut, she didn't make the cut. That's not like, deal with it. Just respect it, I think, at that point. And it's because she was offended. The wife was offended, so he's asking about it. Does he care? No, he probably doesn't even care.
I don't know. He seems like a very interesting guy. So like maybe he did ask. But again, like if your daughter doesn't want you to bring someone, like respect your daughter over your mistress.
Yes.
Like, or
Ugh.
or don't have a daughter anymore. Like, just like cut ties. Like, she invited you. If I don't know, man. Like,
I think the daughter would have more respect for this affair lady, whatever. I feel bad calling her that, but it is what it is. If she had reached out to her like, listen, I just want to congratulate you. I have no hard feelings if you do not feel like you want me there. I still wish the best for your marriage, and just had that acceptance. Because then you're like, wow, like that was really mature and bold of, like nice of her to just congratulate me, accept it. And that's like the start of rebuilding or potential, or not rebuilding, building a positive relationship with his daughter. I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Because she said at the very end, she's never tried to reach out to her, not even when she had cancer, to like check up on her, say anything. Like, she's never initiated a conversation.
No. How can you love somebody that doesn't love your kids?
Like that one story Rachel read about the guy that wanted a relationship with his son, and she's like, we vowed to never
that's
involve
weird.
kids in our lives. Anyway.
No. Sorry if anything happened to my husband and I, God forbid. But there was someone new and they didn't love my child. I'm sorry. That's bye. You're not even an option.
There's the door. Don't let it hit you.
100%.
You have to love my kid. It is what it is. Some people don't think like that, though. It's weird. Well, that was a spicy, juicy one, man.
I know. I told you last week I want to find spicier ones like yours.
Just stepped it up, guys. She stepped it up. That had layers to it, for sure.
It was emotional, spicy, all the things.
Oof. I have all the feelings about that. But good for her for standing her ground. She could have gave in and took that spot for someone and then been so uncomfortable with her entire wedding because she doesn't want her there. No, you don't need that. Have a good time without her. Thank you, next. I feel like that's always our thing.
Get on out. Well,
are you guys
speaking of spice,
are you ready for it?
Anyway.
Oh, get it.
Let's hear it.
My title. Ooh, dun, 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 dun. Just kidding. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I cheated on him, even though I didn't?
What?
Stupid, but I was like, let me read it. Okay, so I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, 30 male, for 6 years. About 2 years into our marriage, I found out my husband had cheated on me with a high school friend that he met at one of his friend's wedding. Again, we're talking about cheating. Oops. I didn't go with him because it was a few days after the delivery of my first baby. Oh my God, it's worse. He claimed it was just a one-time mistake, that he had a few drinks too many and that he regretted it. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. At that time, our daughter was only 1, and I didn't want to break up our family over something he swore was a mistake. I forgave him. Or at least I thought I did. I convinced myself that it was nothing I could be okay with because I was afraid to start over. But honestly, I was too young and inexperienced to fully understand how deeply it had hurt me. 3 years into our marriage, we had our second child, our son, who's now 3. Around that time, I found out that my husband didn't just cheat once. He had cheated multiple times with different women during the early years of our marriage. I found out when I was with my mother-in-law at her birthday. With my mother-in-law, her birthday was coming up. I wanted some pictures of her for a collage that I wanted to make for her. I was scrolling through my husband's photos when I found screenshots of women's profile from dating apps. So I went through his messages from years ago to find out that he had been cheating on me even before the girl from the wedding. The texts were usually vague, but enough to confirm my suspicions. I confronted him, and at first he tried to deny it. And I had proof. The messages, dates exactly matched the periods. He had reassured me that everything was good. He then gave up on the lie. He finally confessed. He collapsed into sobs, gripping my hand, saying how much he hated himself and what he had done, telling me how in those days he had been foolish, immature, and afraid of losing me. He begged me not to leave him. He promised that he had changed. He said it was not something he had done since we had our son, and his family meant the world. Admittedly, his apology really got to me. I hesitated when I saw how broken he looked. I couldn't determine if it was sincere, regret, desperate, or guilt. I told him I forgave him, even though I really didn't. I never really did. The trust was broken and the anger persisted despite my best efforts to move on. Since then, he has been acting like the perfect husband, as if it's compensating for what he did. I'll admit it was good to be the center of his attention after so long, but for the last 2 years, I have been nothing but tolerating him, because when I look at him, all I see is lies. Now getting to the title, ... Last weekend, after putting the kids to sleep, I decided to tell him that I had cheated on him. I didn't, but I wanted him to feel even a fraction of pain and betrayal I've been carrying all these years. When I told him, he was crushed. His face went pale, and he just kept saying, "No, you wouldn't. You couldn't." He begged for details. When? Who? How could you do this to us? He couldn't believe that I had thrown away everything we had been working to rebuild. He said he thought we were finally in a good place, and this destroyed him. I told him, I expect you to forgive me just like I forgave you. Now he's completely heartbroken, barely speaking to me, acting like he's the victim. He says, what I did is worse because we were finally getting better, and now I've torn us apart. Part of me feels guilty as if I manipulated him, but another part of me thinks he needed to experience even a piece of what I went through. So am I the asshole? Why is this girl my spirit animal?
For real. Honestly, you go, Glenn Coco. Oh my gosh. We love a petty queen.
Oh, yes, she is. That's so spicy.
Okay, we'll be for real though. Yes, it was probably immature if we're talking about, you know, like turning the other cheek. My thing is,
I rolled my eyes.
My thing is, I would not forgive. And if I did the first time, I most certainly would not the second time. It's just not, like, that is on my list of things that I would be like out the door. Not for me, but
that's heavy.
No, yeah. That's awful. Like,
so what's your initial thoughts, I guess? Like, what do you guys think? Like, when you hear that, is she the asshole? What would you even do in that situation?
Rachel, take it away.
I don't know. I would say yes and no. I see it both ways. Yes, that was immature. She probably shouldn't have. But on the other hand, she's hurt and upset and
been hurt too and been bottling it up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Yes, I understand both sides, both ways.
Now, I think he's gaslighting her a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you said that. He is. He's trying to get the victim. He's been the villain for so many years. I think this was his opportunity to be like, how did you do this to me? Like on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, from a mental health professional, I think when the initial cheating happened that they should have went to couples retreat, they should have went to couples therapy. I have to do this whole plug. If you're not in therapy and this something like this has happened, go see a professional. Work through it. She needs to individually work through that shame, or not that shame, but like he needs to do the shame part, but she needs to work through like
The
how to forgive and like
insecurities,
that
yeah.
daily forgiveness. Like I think there's some times when people hurt you so bad, you have to daily choose to forgive them over and over and over. So she needs to work through that. She's bottling up the anger, she's battling up that resentment, and so if she wants to save that marriage for her family, for her, now it's not always good to just stay for the kids. I'm going to say that. It's not always good. But I think there's a whole thing. If you were choosing to stick with it, you needed to go get treatment. You needed to go get like professional help. Just going to say that on a serious note. But on like a, I laughed at her little prank though. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I
So I
mean,
think
you go queen. Like,
it snaps
part
for
of
that.
part of me would want to do that same thing. Let's be real.
If I was going to leave him, I would do that right before I hit the door.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like, but more like the first time. Like when you find out and be like, well, make a big stink about it. And then at the end, whenever you're like, oh, well, we'll stay and be like, well, actually, I did it too. So
I was doing it the whole time.
I did it earlier before this conversation. I'm just kidding.
I know, true. There is like so many layers to that.
Poor girl, man. Like that did not just come about, you know? Like he's had to have always been a player to some extent. Like if that's the lifestyle you want to live, why would you get married? Because he did it multiple times at
is this behavior a surprise? I would love to know. Like, is this something that you kind of were skeptical of, and then it just, I don't know.
Even just for him to be like, why would you, if that's the lifestyle you, like, if you want to be with a lot of women, why get married and have kids? Because that's going to mess up those kids' lives. You know? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's hard for her because she was like postpartum, just had a baby, and then finds out her husband was cheating on her. Like, oh yeah, you feel so great about yourself during that time.
Yeah.
That's like the lowest I've felt about myself. Physically,
oh my gosh.
Emotionally, everything. I felt terrible. Like I didn't even know who I was. My emotions were nuts. My body was not where it needed to be. You know, all that stuff. Like, postpartum is so hard. And then adding in a newborn, you're not sleeping, you know, all that stuff. And then you're like, oh, and your husband has been cheating on you. Oh, actually, it was with multiple women. Well, thanks. Like, that's really, really shitty.
People like that are disgusting. They're disgusting humans.
Ugh. Yeah, that's not it. That's not who. Honestly, why would you want to continue to try to build something with that when they just showed you who they are? Especially the lying, like, I didn't do that. I didn't do it. Well, here's the receipt. You're still lying to me. Oh, well, then actually I did. Okay, now you just lied to me. You cheated on me multiple times. Yeah, I'm done. Like, I have nothing else to give to that. Yeah. That's so exhausting.
But it's not worth the mental state you're going to be put in for that. Take your kid and go be happy, you know?
Kids, just two now.
Kids, yeah, two. I was just thinking about whenever she found out the first time. I'd be like, because like you said, you're finding out that, and they're lying. What else are they capable of?
I know. I would be over that. I'd be like, all right, you're done. You had a chance. I gave you opportunities to be honest, at least. And you just lied to my face on top of cheating multiple times. Make it make sense. What's with us always talking about cheating and weddings and
I know. Because those are the juiciest stories. That's the tea everyone wants to hear.
Right.
Everyone can relate to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean we're doing stories of all kinds to hit all types of demographics.
He's probably like a Chad or something.
Honestly, probably.
We need T-shirts that say, "Are you a Chad?"
Are you a Chad? Or what was the good? Doug was the good guy. I remember that. Yes, are you a Doug or a Chad?
We need merch.
Comment on wherever you're watching us and let us know if we need merch.
If you want merch, if you're interested, let us know. We might hook it up.
Well, guys, that was some spicy tea tonight for our 10th episode.
We love it. We go big for the 10th episode. Okay.
Maybe whenever we launch season 2, maybe we'll try to find a special guest.
Ooh, I think I have someone in mind.
So do I. I wonder if it's the same person.
We'll chat after.
We don't want to give any. We don't want to give any hints.
Want to guess? No, I'm just kidding.
If you want to guess, are we talking about you? Oh, you know what? We might be thinking of different people now that I think about it. I feel like I know who you're thinking about. Anyway.
This is funny. All right, well.
That's a wrap on season 1.
Season 1 is complete. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've missed any episodes, please go back and listen on Spotify, watch on YouTube, and catch up on all our TikTok videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe to all the things. That's just 3 mamas.
Spilling the tea.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.